As the Edo State governorship election draws closer with just 11 days remaining, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it's making its final preparations. The INEC chairman, along with top election officials, are currently in Edo State on an assessment tour. This visit comes as part of efforts to assure the public that the Commission is leaving no stone unturned in its readiness to deliver a credible election. INEC has also tested the devices to be used during the polls, including the much talked about BVAS machines. The Commission says it will tackle challenges that could affect the polls.
With 11 days to the election, I'm absolutely certain that by the end of this week we'll address these issues. My assurance to everyone in Edo State is on the part of the Commission. We keep saying this. INEC is not a political party. Therefore, we don't have a candidate in this election. The responsibility for choosing the next governor of Edo State is entirely in the hands of Edo voters. And our assurance to all the registered voters in Edo State is to troop out to vote for the party of their choice and the candidate of their choice. And the Commission will, as always, protect the integrity of the process and uphold the choice made by the electorate.
Well, Timidi Wariowei, Head of Voter Education and Publicity of INEC in Edo State, joins me from Benin City, the capital, I believe. Thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you so very much for having me.
Great. I mean, a good place to start would be where the INEC chairman left off when he talked about the independence and credibility of INEC itself. He's having to stress that INEC does not have a candidate in this election. And it calls to question the independence of this body. There are those who say INEC is usually under the pressure of some political actors. How do you convince Nigerians, beyond what the INEC chairman has told us today in Benin City, that you are truly independent and you can deliver a credible election?
Yes, we are prepared, and by the grace of God, we are going to have a very good election in Edo State come the 21st of September 2024. As the name goes, it's Independent National Electoral Commission, so we are independent. We get our funds from directly from by the budgetary provisions from the presidency. And then, of course, our activities, are clearly stated in the Constitution. So INEC is independent, and we don't work. We work based on what is stated in the law, and not by the dictates of a political party or the government in power. So we are independent, and that is why we can carry out our activities independently. And of course, if you have been following our activities, especially this Edo State government governorship election, from the time that we released the timetable or till this point, the various activities that are on the timeline, we have been carrying them out, one after the other. And I think we have done up to 11 out of the 13 activities on the timelines. So, and these activities, of course, we carry them independently. Of course, the ones that we do in relation with the political parties, of course, we also do them. So we are not attached to any political party. We conduct, our own is to conduct a good election. Whoever that emerges as winner after the election, of course, we are going to declare it. But it's based on the votes that the people voted, the votes that will be counted at the polling unit, and then, of course, from the polling unit to the ward, from the ward, to the LG, and then the final collation. So we are not attached to any political party. We are clearly an independent body.
Thank you for that. It's not the first time INEC has assured us that they are ready for an election, but we see these promises broken, especially on election day, from logistical challenges or rigging or sabotage by even INEC officials themselves, or security issues. What is different? What is going to be different in Edo State election when you say to Nigerians that you are ready?
Well, I have been telling the people of Edo State that, in particular, to be specific, INEC Edo, in the past elections, we've done fairly well in the conduct of the elections. I used to cite example, the 2020 governorship election in Edo State, which was conducted under the COVID era, adhering to all the COVID protocols. It was a very terrible experience, but it was one of the best elections in the history of this country and in the history of the commission, where the winner, the first runner-up, didn't challenge the outcome of the result, but accepted the result. That was the Edo State 2020 governorship election. Even the 2023 general election in Edo State that we conducted, a state that is PDP controlled, Labour Party swept the election, especially the presidential election. So we are not known for interfering. INEC Edo is not known for interfering in the process. It's the votes that the people voted at the polling units that are counted. And of course, the people of Edo State will testify to that. Of course, that is what has happened, especially the 2020 governorship election, and then this 2023 general election. These are clear evidences to prove that INEC Edo, is above board. So we are here to do the same, even in this September 21st governorship election. Our processes are transparent. We will not interfere. We are putting finishing touches to our logistics arrangements. We have discussed with the security agencies, and everything about this election is going smoothly. So, and by the grace of God, the election on the 21st of September is going to be smooth, and then a winner will emerge after the election.
We'll wait to see. But let me ask you, because you talked about the lineup of activities which you set for yourself as a commission ahead of the election, and today you carried out the mock accreditation exercise. Is it correct that you carried this out in 12 polling units across the 3 senatorial districts in the state? And we understand that there are over 4,000 polling units in Edo State. So what informed the decision to limit the scope to these 12 polling units? And isn't it grossly, limited even for a mock exercise?
Yeah, it's as the name goes, it is mock, and so it cannot go round. We are only testing, some of our equipment like the BVAS. Okay, in the first place, Edo State has 4,519 polling units, 4,519 polling units, and not 40. But in is the practice, it's the tradition of the commission. When we want to conduct this kind of election, we test run our BVAS, to show that the BVAS and everything is working. And we do it based on senatorial district. Pick 2 LGAs in one senatorial district like that. So even in this one, because we have 3 senatorial districts, pick two local governments in the 3 senatorial districts, and then pick some, some polling units, in those senatorial districts, and then test the BVAS. And that is what we did. It is just purely, to tell the world that, of course, we are ready and we are getting ready. So in Edo, we cannot go around. It's not an election. We are just testing our BVAS and all the processes. So that was what happened. And of course, the chairman was on ground, to monitor some of the polling units. We went to Idia College in Oredo local government area, and then the second was Western Boys High School in the Ipoboaka local government area. So where in these places we saw the workings of the BVAS, the accreditation process and all that. So these are to assure the public, the voters, that of course even in this election we are going to use the BVAS, and of course to prove to the world that we are getting ready.
Great. So in all of these 12 polling units that you conducted the mock exercise, can you tell us if the BVAS worked accurately in all of the polling units? And I ask you because we see INEC conduct this mock exercise, tell us you're ready for the election, but on the election day, we see that BVAS machines are bypassed or they fail to work entirely in some places.
Yes, from the reports we've gotten, in all the centers, the BVAS worked very well. And in every year, there are improvements in our processes, including some of these, the innovation, because of the innovations we carried out, even the BVAS machine, keep improving, okay? because of the devices, So even this election, this mock accreditation that we did, the BVAS worked very well. And let me assure you, and of course assure the people of Edo State, that this election, the BVAS is going to work very, very well. The BVAS is for verification and authentication. If your fingerprint cannot be captured, of course your facials will be captured. So in these two, one must work. So that has eliminated, has reduced, people standing on the queue for a very long time. And then this whole idea of people being disenfranchised because the machine could not capture their fingerprints and there was no alternative. So with the working of the BVAS, with this BVAS that, that we are using for this election, either the fingerprint, or the facials, one must work. And I think that is what has, kind of brought some kind of credibility, to our elections. So in this election, we are assuring the people of Edo that we are going to use the BVAS, and the BVAS will work very well. Where there is a problem, either malfunctioning or one problem or the other, of course, we have backups that we are going to bring, to correct that particular one, So we are ready. Machines not working very well, I don't think will arise in this election.
But do you envisage a scenario where they don't work? And are you making provisions for a bypass? Or are you saying tonight on this show, are you telling Nigerians, and particularly Edo State residents, that it is going to be BVAS or nothing?
Yes, there is no alternative to BVAS as far as our elections are concerned. And nobody, and let me say it emphatically, nobody will bypass the BVAS. This is an election that, it's a standalone election. The whole of this country, it is only in Edo State on the 21st of September that we are going to have an election. So INEC, the whole of INEC will be here. The security will be beefed up, to the point that no person will try, to do anything funny. Okay, so even from the security angle, the security agencies, they have assured us. We just held a meeting with the Honorable Chairman and the security agencies just now. And so we are ready. There will be no bypass of the BVAS. Anybody that is attempting anything funny, of course, will have him or herself to blame, because the security agents will definitely take care of that. Of course, the Commissioner of Police was here, and he has assured us very well, that security agencies, agents will be very professional. And of course, in fact, he said that at every polling unit, there will be minimum of 4 security personnel at every polling unit. So you can imagine how that will look like. So I don't think there will be any issue of BVAS bypass and all that. Anybody that is attempting anything fraudulent, of course, will have his or herself to blame.
Okay, can I ask you if there will be electronic transmission of results in this Edo State election? We know that the justices of the Supreme Court had in 2023, in determining the case of the presidential election, said INEC has the discretion of transmitting the results any which way they like. But we want to know, how will you be transmitting the elections in Edo State?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, we will transmit the result from the polling unit to the INEC election results viewing portal. Okay, how we do it is that after the voting, after sorting out the votes, after the election, after sorting out the votes are counted, and then the raw results, party by party, are entered into the polling unit results sheet. That is what we call EC8A. And then they will use the BVAS, to snap that result and then send it to the INEC election results viewing portal. You can sit at the comfort of your house to go to that, to log into that portal and then see the raw results of that polling unit. That is what we are going to do. So even in this election, we are going to do it. But then, let me say this. The election results viewing portal is not, it's not an online tabulation process. We are not collating the results or tabulating the results, online. Okay, the election result being portal is to bring transparency and credibility into the system, where somebody can check after the election, go to the portal and check the raw results of that particular polling unit. Those who are smart can set up situation rooms to check from polling unit, and then collate it, and then know who is leading, in the entire election. I think that is what some persons did in some election. So it brings credibility. We are trying to, what we have done is to avoid the situation. Before now, after election, some persons will ambush our staff on the way and then destroy results, destroy materials, kidnap them and all that, and then the whole thing, that particular polling unit will not get any result. So as we speak, we have tried to deal with that problem. If you relay our officials at any point, because the result is already on the portal, we can get that result out. So you are wasting your effort. So we have tried to deal with that issue, and I think that is one of the reasons why those who target our officials after the election, on their way from the polling unit to the ward or wherever, they don't do it again because the result is already out. So the results viewing portal, we are going to, at the level of the polling unit, we are going to transmit the results to that portal, and then people can see. But in this election, we are not doing online tabulation of the results. It's just for people to view it and know who won or who had the highest results, scores rather, who has the highest scores in a particular polling unit.
Okay, I mean that raises more questions, but let's talk about post-election disputes that have almost become a constant. And some will say that's because we've not seen the integrity that we were promised by INEC when it comes to introducing technology to the process. And then there's also the issue of voter inducement. I wonder what you're doing in that regard as the head of voter education and publicity in INEC in Edo State. Is that a challenge for you, voter inducement, and what are you doing?
Well, voter inducement, yes, in our meeting, in our ICES meeting today, let me say this for people to, for the voters and the people of Edo State to know. In the ICES meeting, what I call ICES is Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security. So we have security agencies and then bodies like ICPC, EFCC, and all of them are parts of this ICES. So the EFCC and ICPC, they were there in today's meeting, and they've assured us that they will mobilize fully in this election. So those who are planning to engage in vote buying, and vote selling and all that, well, I won't say much, but the EFCC and the ICPC officials are already working, and they've mapped out their strategies, in that election. So I hear some people also do some things, buying of wrapper, buying of salt, buying of that, before the election and all that, well, these are things that we, as an organization, we are working, hand in hand with the security agencies to nip all of them in the bud. So we'll see how it's going to play out. But in this election, I'm sure that all these issues will be drastically minimized.
Well, 11 days to go. We hope to have more conversation as the days and the clock ticks by to the Edo State governorship election. But we have to thank you, Timidi Wariowei. He's the head voter education and publicity of INEC Edo State. Thank you so much for being on Prime Time.